Sam, aren't you going to comment about my haircut?
I didn't even notice until I'm looking in the camera.
Wow. What a dick.
Terrible Karen.
I tried
it looks like a Karen haircut. Oh my god, it does.
It actually does, actually. Now that
wow, those 40-year-old like guys, I'm still young and all that stuff. You're not young. How old is Ralph in the comment section?
That's right. That's the game today, people. Ladies and gentlemen, today...
And how much do I weigh? That's another game.
Pre-quarantine and post-quarantine weight gain. Let's have a look.
Good.
Guys, today's episode is about not Stadia, the other one. The GeForce Now, that's the one. That's the other cloud streaming thing. And turns out that it's not going well for them. Well, it kind of is going well, but it's actually also sort of really not going well. Put your hand down, Sam. Let's finish this drop properly.
Sure.
Okay, it's time for the drop.
I think it's dropped, yeah. Guys, today this video is sponsored by Laymen Gaming, alright? So go check out the merch store.
You're not even wearing the
I
shirt
always
today,
see people do that actually on their YouTube. They're like, it's actually, it's done by us today. I'm like, so no one's sponsoring the video. I'm like, what?
I haven't seen that.
I see that a bit. Okay, so, GeForce Now, everyone knows that streaming is upon us. Not yet, but it's coming.
If you ask Sam, Sam's like, oh, in the future, only people will be streaming video games.
No.
Physical ownership won't even exist anymore, man. Everyone's going to be streaming all the time.
No,
I'm
Sam. I do think that there'll be vinyl record places, just like video games. There'll be some sort of, market for it, but let's face it, people. I think the future is going to be big in terms of streaming. I do believe that. GeForce Now is getting ready for it. Xbox, Sony, and Stadia, okay, getting ready for it, and they're already fresh out of the gate. Fresh out of the gate early, okay? GeForce Now, out of nowhere, started putting all these games on their store. Now, everyone was like, that's great.
Out of nowhere, though, is a bit of a stretch, because GeForce Now was in beta testing, for a long time, and we're talking like literally 2 years plus. They were testing this service, they were building out their library of games, etc., etc. So, like, it wasn't like it just arrived all of a sudden, like, hey, boom. They really tested this product properly.
They did. What I'm talking about, the normal consumer like myself wouldn't have known what this is, and they just jump on, they see an ad for it, and boom, there's 2,000 plus games that they can start streaming, right? So in that regard, it's pretty cool to see that happening. But it looks like publishers weren't overly keen on it.
No, what happened immediately after the service got out of beta was that publishers started pulling their games from it. Even before that launch, publishers such as Activision, Blizzard, etc. had pulled their games, right? But after that launch, you had publishers like Bethesda and 2K and a whole bunch of others pull their games from the service.
Even small ones like The Long Dark.
Yeah, I mean, The Long Dark was an important example, I think, because that was an indie game, right? They sell on Steam, and I think they're also on Xbox, maybe. I'm not sure, but maybe just Steam. But anyway, they are on there, and then they had a very public sort of like, tantrum on Twitter, being like, you shouldn't be selling the games through GeForce Now, blah, 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 take it down, blah, blah, blah. What they were essentially saying was that they want the ability to sell the game to you twice, right? They say that we have this game that we've made, we decide which platforms that it goes on, and then we decide how we charge for that, etc., etc. And GeForce Now kind of circumvents that, because GeForce Now is essentially a computer in the cloud, right? So you buy the game on Steam, you don't need to buy it again in GeForce Now, you can just play it with a virtual PC, and that's it. No one should be able to tell you that you're not allowed to do that, except the law kind of says that they can tell you you're not allowed to do that.
It'd be different, I think, if GeForce Now came out with like a $4 or $5 monthly subscription and the developer didn't get anything. But you have to purchase the game first before you can even play it on GeForce Now. So these developers have already been paid on that.
So in the case of The Long Dark, for example, they want to get paid for the game on Steam, and then they also want to get paid for the game if you're streaming it on GeForce Now, like you're paying for it twice. So that's bullshit, obviously. Yeah. But that's unfortunately the law, right? That is the law. Otherwise, GeForce Now wouldn't be backing down in the way that they are. They are removing games from their services when publishers ask them to do so, because the law is on their side. Again, we're not going to go into the particulars of all that because we don't even know it. But all we know,
yes, we do.
All we know is that there's enough grounds for publishers to be able to demand that GeForce does this, and GeForce is acquiescing.
And we saw this more and more. It became this gigantic domino effect where pretty much all the major publishers have pulled out, apart from like Ubisoft or whatever. But like, it looks like there's only B-grade games on there now.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There's like still 2,000 games. There's heaps of games, and it's still a lot of value for what you're getting. But I think it has been a while since we've really touched on this, because it sounds like nothing's really happened on this front
sure.
until today.
In a statement today on their blog, whatever, Nvidia did say that, first of all, GeForce Now has already been enjoyed by millions of gamers. As we approach the end of our trial period, we're working to build a robust catalog of PC games with full support from the development community. They say specifically that the response has been strong, with over 200 publishers committing to streaming on the service. So much for your little B-grade games comment, Sam.
Yeah.
200 publishers.
You know what I'm
How many publishers support you, Sam?
None.
0.
And they continue, GeForce Now is an extension of the PC ecosystem. There is no cost for developers. Games just run without difficult porting requirements, helping them reach millions of players who don't have game-ready PCs. Going forward, only the games that are opted in will be available on the service, providing confidence in the GeForce Now game library. Yet some publishers are still figuring out their cloud strategies. Those that haven't opted in as of 31st of May will be removed. So it's kind of good to see that they've come out with something now, because it seems like before they were just like, everyone, hey, well, we don't have consent. Just come on. It's all about consent.
Nice, Sam.
It's all about consent.
Sam learned that the hard way in the court case.
Against him.
This is in stark contrast to their previous approach, where they would kind of put the game on the service and then kind of like ask for forgiveness later, so to speak, you know, where if publishers wanted it to be taken down, then they would do so. And like, this is cool and great and all, but at the end of the day, this actually provided not a great experience for consumers, because people would sign up for this service, they'd invest like, say, 50 or 60 hours plus into a game and think, cool, I've got all my progress, this is fantastic. And all of a sudden, the publisher could yank the game off the service, and then all that time would have been wasted for that person, and they'd have to restart the game somewhere else, right? So this is a better outcome for consumers, because it means that when they start their game on GeForce Now, they can be confident that it's going to stay on that platform and their progress will continue. It is, however, disappointing from the perspective of, it looks like publishers are like slowly winning. Like, you've still got plenty of games on this service, don't get me wrong, but the fact that they have this opt-in approach now for what is a virtual PC in the sky shows that, like, the momentum does not feel like it's behind GeForce Now in this instance.
Definitely, and I also feel like it's kind of a good thing here is the knee-jerk reaction seems to have ended, with all these publishers just kind of bailing on it, and now we have confidence around what publishers are going to stay around. But at the same time, it's a shame that we did see such a knee-jerk reaction when it seemed really promising. It was the most promising streaming service that we had.
Yeah, for sure.
You've already purchased the game, so the developer would have already been paid. It's still a pro-developer move in that aspect, as well as, you know, if the customer had already bought the game, you don't have to buy it again like you do on Stadia, for God's sake.
Yeah, and this is I think a huge driver with this. Many of the publishers that pulled out from GeForce Now did so because they had arrangements already in place with Stadia. This obviously is in conflict to that, and Stadia is an inferior service purely from the perspective of that, you know, you buy a game on Stadia, it only exists on Stadia. So if you also want to play it on Steam, bad luck. If you want to play it offline, you can actually, I think, download it in the future. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's not there. Like
It's
the
not
many
there
other
yet.
features that they haven't actually got
like a million other features they don't have, right? But at the end of the day, stuff like Project xCloud is fantastic because you can buy it on Xbox and then play it across your entire family devices or in the cloud, right? Steam is also rumored to be working on a streaming service, which has been sort of like hinted at their game files.
And Amazon.
And Amazon as well, but I think Amazon would make you buy the game on their platform versus
40 times.
Steam. If you already have it on Steam, you would be able to theoretically play it in the cloud unless they charge extra for that. I don't know. Regardless, this is a great platform, and it is very sad to see it being sort of like beaten down like this, where they have to change this approach. Ultimately, if you have a game and you want to play it on a virtual PC, nothing should stop you from being able to do that. Nothing, right? Unfortunately, it seems like the law does stop you from doing that, and it's bullshit. It's just a shame to see that GeForce has had such difficulty in pushing what is ultimately a very pro-consumer product.
Yeah, I think that all these developers and publishers, I think, are just worried about the future and how they can monetize their product as best as possible. I think that if GeForce Now came out in 5 years when there's already like a predetermined rule set of streaming, maybe we wouldn't have seen this, but because it's such new territory, they were just like, shit, I don't know, well, are we losing money here? Take it off, you know? But I think after this now, hopefully we start seeing more and more people come back to GeForce Now. Because we can't have it
We don't even have it in Australia yet. I would like to get it in Australia.
Okay.
So did you hear that they invented in Australia the fastest internet
saw
ever?
that.
It's like how many was it? Like 40 terabytes a second or something? That was invented.
1,000 SD movies a second or something.
That was invented in Australia, which means that every other country in the world will get it before us.
Yep.
And then we'll still be using like our coat hanger network.
Yeah.
Just tied together coat
It
hangers.
works, I can go, hey, how you going, and hear it and stuff,
That's right.
It works, and it's all good. We're catching up with technology, guys. Don't worry.
Thank you very much, Malcolm Turnbull. We totally don't miss you. Not even a little bit.
Of course not. Okay,
Goodbye,
guys.
Malcolm.
Goodbye. Layman out, and Snyder Cut coming soon. I don't know. Thought I'd say that.
Bye.
Goodbye.